sometimes the hardest part of building a life you truly want isn't not knowing what to do. It's the waiting. The space where you've gained clarity, you've done the work, you're showing up consistently, and nothing seems to be changing. In this moment, the question becomes, am I actually moving forward or am I stuck? In this episode, we're talking about the waiting period, why it feels so difficult, why it can make you feel behind, and how to move through it without losing yourself in the process. I invite you to grab your favorite beverage and settle in with me as we explore how to elegantly navigate the waiting period in life.
Becoming the magnificent me, empowered, strong, and gracefully, with poise and elegance, I can see I am who I was born to
be. Welcome to Becoming, Conversations in Elegance and Empowerment, a sanctuary for women who desire to live with purpose, grace, and quiet confidence. I'm Sinesa Lusinger, your host, author, and transformation guide. Gentlemen are welcome to listen in, but this space is intentionally crafted for the elegant woman becoming all she's meant to be. If this conversation resonates and you'd like focused private support, I invite you to explore private coaching. You can find more information anytime at becomingpublishing.com. Now, let's step into today's topic. I've spent so much of my life waiting to just have the normal things that even the lowliest of people have. And I found myself feeling really frustrated, wondering, when is it gonna be my turn? It takes time to figure out what you want your life to look like, especially after you've experienced a major life change. It takes time to remember your worth and values. Then you gain clarity and see the vision you want your life to resemble. At this stage, you know what you want now. You've outgrown old patterns. You're no longer confused. But externally, nothing really looks that different. You still have the same issues in your career and finances. You still live in the same environments. You still have the same relationship patterns. You may still have the same physical health or mental health symptoms or body weights. It can feel like you missed something, like everyone else figured something out that you didn't. It can also feel like you're doing everything you can and know how to do to make positive changes, but instead of moving forward into the clear vision you see in your mind, you feel like your feet are stuck in concrete. Many women come to me when they're in this exact place, where they've done the work, they've gained clarity, and they're wondering why their life hasn't caught up yet. I know all too well what this period feels like. It feels like everyone else is ahead and you're behind. It feels like you're not just late to the party, but the party is already over before you had a chance to be there. Comparison sets in. It can be quiet and internal, not just comparing yourself or your situation to what you're seeing on social media only. It's the disconnect between your internal clarity and your external reality. I invite you to stay with me because next I'll show you the scientific research and how experts advise you to navigate it. If this conversation is resonating and you recognize yourself in what we're discussing, I invite you to apply for private coaching. I work privately with a small number of women each season who are ready to rebuild confidence, strengthen emotional boundaries, and make clear decisions in life and love. This is structured, focused work, not surface motivation. If you're navigating heartbreak or life transitions and you want grounded private support, you can apply at becomingpublishing.com. I personally review every application. During this waiting period, it can be easy to get discouraged because of all the effort you're putting into changing the situation while seeing no results. In this moment, it's important to remember that delay does not mean denial. There's a concept often discussed in high performance and personal development that results don't appear immediately after efforts. There is often a delay between what you're doing and what you see. Successful people usually experience this exact phase. In his book Atomic Habits, James Clear describes this as the plateau of latent potential. It's where people are putting in efforts, but the results haven't become visible yet. Let me translate this for you. You're not stuck. You're in the build phase. Jeff Bezos has spoken about how many decisions and actions take years to show results, and that most people give up in that gap between effort and outcome. Seth Godin calls it the dip. It's the period where progress feels slow, invisible, or even non-existent, and most people quit during this time. The reality is, most people don't fail because they choose the wrong path. They stop because they misinterpret this phase. This phase feels so intense because you have clarity now, which leads to higher expectations. You're aware, so you notice the gap more. You've outgrown your old life, but you're not fully in the new one. You're there mentally, emotionally, and energetically. You may be living in the new world in your head while navigating your current reality simultaneously. You're no longer who you were, but your life hasn't fully caught up to who you're becoming. There's actually research that helps explain why this waiting period feels so intense. Psychological studies on goal pursuits and delayed gratification show that when there is a gap between effort and visible results, people often experience frustration, doubt, and decreased motivation, even when they are making progress. In a landmark study on delayed gratification, psychologist Walter Mischel found that the ability to tolerate waiting, even when the outcome is uncertain, is strongly connected to long-term success and emotional regulation. More recent research in neuroscience and motivation has shown that the brain is wired to expect reward after efforts. When that reward is delayed, the brain can interpret it as failure, even when progress is still happening. This is one of the reasons the waiting period can feel so uncomfortable. You are putting in effort, but your brain is not yet receiving the feedback it expects. Research in positive psychology also shows that practices like mindfulness and gratitude can help regulate this response. Mindfulness has been shown to reduce stress and improve emotional regulation by helping individuals stay present rather than projecting into an uncertain future. Gratitude practices have been linked to increased well-being, improved mood, and a greater sense of life satisfaction, even during difficult or uncertain periods. So what you're experiencing during this waiting period is not just emotional, it's also neurological. Two tools to employ during this time are mindfulness and gratitude. Mindfulness is simply a practice of becoming aware of the here and now. What this practice does is helps quiet your thoughts, but more importantly, it brings you into today, this moment, the here and now, which is all we really have. Quote, I encourage you to begin a practice of being more mindful, said Dr. Wayne Dyer in a 2014 PBS special. This is, in fact, what I did to end my lifetime habit of being forgetful, particularly when it came to where I placed my keys. These days, when I swim, I experience my arms moving, my legs kicking, my shoulders stretching, the feel and state of the salt water, my fingers cupped and moving the water, my breathing, my heart rate, all of it. Practicing mindfulness has taught me to be in the moment and find myself, as well as my keys, he said. Mindfulness brings us into awareness and can program the brain to remember good things that are happening right now. It's so vitally important to be grateful for everything. I've said it many times before and I'll continue to say it. I believe that one of the greatest traits of an elegant woman, royal person, or anyone resonating on a higher frequency is gratitude. Webster Illustrated Contemporary Dictionary defines the word gratitude and grateful as, quote, a feeling of thankfulness, having or expressing gratitude, thankful, affording gratification, the act of gratitude, or the state of being gratified, end quotes. The bad things will all work out for your good. Maybe not immediately, but eventually you will see that what looked like a devastating storm actually gave you the chance to rebuild your life into your dream house. I've used this technique with many of my clients, and they've reported experiencing a profound shift in their thinking and outlook on life in a very positive way. If you have trouble in this area, you can use the 40-day guided gratitude journal I created in my book, The Princess Guide to Gratitude, and also the audiobook, 14 Days to Change Your Life, to help you start your daily gratitude practice. The audiobook is available on Spotify, and both books are available at becomingpublishing.com. Another tool that honestly I've found to be the hardest to use during this waiting period is letting go. I'm not suggesting that this process of letting go is easy. However, this advice has helped me during that process over the years. Quote, after identifying our needs, there is a next step to getting our wants and needs met. This step is one of the spiritual ironies of recovery. The next step is letting go of our wants and needs after we have taken painstaking steps to identify them. Sometimes I even have to go to the point of saying, I don't want it. I realize it's important to me, but I cannot control obtaining that in my life. Now, I don't even care anymore if I have it or not. In fact, I'm going to be absolutely happy without it and without any hope of getting it, because hoping to get it is making me nuts. The more I hope and try to get it, the more frustrated I feel because I'm not getting it. I don't know why the process works this way. I only know that this is how the process works for me. We often can have what we really want and need, or something better. Letting go is part of what we do to get it, Melanie Beattie wrote in her book, The Language of Letting Go. I believe that letting go of the vision doesn't mean abandoning or rejecting it. I just believe that letting go of the intense need to have it empowers us to be in a place of acceptance where we can continue living our lives without letting the lack of it being in our realities ruin our experiences and growth during the waiting period. In my personal and professional opinion, the biggest obstacle we have to tackle in the waiting process is coming to a place of acceptance. It's the end result of the grieving process and may require you to feel all your feelings of anger, disappointment, or even loss. Acknowledge them and release them. Sometimes accepting can feel like you're giving up on what you really want, but it actually isn't. Beattie does a really good job of explaining acceptance in her book. Quote, acceptance does not mean we're giving our approval. It does not mean surrendering to the will and plans of another. It does not mean commitments. It is not forever. It is for the present moment. Acceptance does not make things harder. It makes things easier. Acceptance does not mean we accept abuse or mistreatment. It does not mean we forego boundaries, our hopes, dreams, desires, wants, or ourselves. It means we accept what is so we know what to do to take care of ourselves and what boundaries we need to set. It means we accept what is and who we are at the moment so we are free to change and grow, she wrote. As hard as this may be to fathom, acceptance actually brings us into reality so we can enjoy the gift of the present. And that takes us full circle back to mindfulness and gratitude. Many women come to me when they're in this exact space, trying to understand what's happening and what to do next. If something in this conversation resonates with you and you're reflecting on your own relationships or life circumstances, that moment deserves attention. Sometimes it helps to step back and talk through what you're experiencing with someone who understands relationship patterns and emotional dynamics. If you've been listening quietly and thinking, I wish I could talk this through with Sine, the Clarity Reset is the place to start. The Clarity Reset is a private coaching session designed to help you gain clarity about your relationships, life direction, and the patterns that may be shaping your experiences. You can learn more or schedule your session anytime without an application at becomingpublishing.com. I invite you to stay with me because next I'm going to put all this together and give you some practical tips you can use in your own life to move through this waiting process. Many of the ideas we're exploring this season are expanded on in my newest book, Becoming Lavishly Loving, available on Spotify, my website, and most online booksellers. It explores intuition, emotional boundaries, and protecting your inner world with elegance. For women who are ready to apply this work in real time, not just understand it intellectually, I offer a private 3-month coaching container where we rebuild confidence and clarity from the inside out. You can learn more and apply at becomingpublishing.com. I recently heard someone online who studies religion say that he has found himself in a place of contentment. Merriam-Webster defines it as the state of being pleased and satisfied with what one has, not disposed to complain. In that moment, I was going through my own waiting period and found myself thinking, that's nice, but that feels like a hard goal to achieve in this moment for me. A few days later, I came across a quote from Lao Tzu that made it seem less daunting. Quote, "Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize that there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you," he is quoted as saying. So, how do you actually move through this waiting period without losing your sense of direction or yourself? 1. Stop interpreting the delay as failure. The absence of visible results does not mean the absence of progress. It also doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. It just isn't happening right now. 2. Stay anchored in what you already know. You've done the hard parts. You have clarity. You know exactly what you want your world to look like. Use that clarity to keep the hope and dream alive. I would encourage you to stop re-questioning everything. Don't go back to confusion just because results aren't here yet. Use mindfulness, gratitude, letting go, and acceptance to get yourself into a hopeful place so that you can receive what is coming. 3. Let go of the timeline, not the vision. This is important. Don't abandon what you want, but release when it has to happen. 4. Keep your life emotionally stable while you build. Create peace now. Don't wait for success to feel okay. Build a life you can live in during the process. 5. Practice gratitude, but keep it grounded, not forced. As I explained in my books, gratitude is not everything is perfect. It is actually, there are things here that are real and steady in my life right now that I can be thankful for. 6. Recognize this is the phase where most people quit. And because of that, it's also the phase most people never move beyond. You've already done the hard work of getting clarity and holding the vision. Why let all that work go to waste and never see the results of it literally in the last part of the journey? You may feel like you're behind, but what you're actually in is a very specific part of the process. This isn't wasted time. It's the space where things are still forming. You just can't see this invisible part of the process. This is easy when you're going to see a doctor or a professional because you're actually in another environment. You know for a fact that you are going to have the meeting. We don't always have that certainty during the waiting process of life, but we can create that for ourselves by physically doing something. We can go to an open house. If we're questioned, we can honestly say that we're not ready to buy, but are just looking at what's available. We can go to a job fair and talk to recruiters. We can go to an agency and talk with someone about our options. We can go to a job site and see if the environment is one that we want to be in. We can go have lunch in an area where we want to be and see if it's what we imagined. Doing these things may not change our timeline, but it will give us greater clarity. It will allow us to strengthen our vision or refine it. The important thing is to do something. Spiritual text tells us that faith without works is dead, so we have to put action to the dream. We make decisions that will align with our dreams. We prepare our environments to move into the vision. We also need to create a plan so that we're ready to move once the vision comes into our realities. We don't fake it till we make it. I don't like that term at all because elegant women are not fakes. We act as if to align our present realities with our future plans. You may feel like you're behind. You may feel like you missed something, like everyone else has moved forward and you didn't. Here's an important truth to remember. What you're actually in is a very specific part of the process. The part most people never talk about. The part where things are still forming even though you can't see them yet. This is not wasted time. This is where your life is catching up to the clarity you've already gained. I know it can feel like you're stuck, like your feet are in concrete, but being still is not the same as being stuck. Sometimes it simply means something is still being built beneath the surface. So instead of asking, why isn't this happening yet? You might begin asking, what is still forming that I can't see? You keep showing up. You keep choosing alignments. You keep building your life in the present while your future continues to take shape, because when things begin to move, and they will, you won't just be ready. You'll understand why it took the time it did. Many women come to me when they're in this exact space, trying to understand what's happening and what to do next. If that's where you are, I invite you to begin with my new book, Becoming Lavishly Loving. And if you're ready to explore your situation more personally, the Clarity Reset is available for you. If you host a podcast or lead a community and feel this conversation would resonate with your audience, I'd be honored to be part of that. This is your invitation to continue this journey of becoming with me. Thank you so much for spending time with me on Becoming Conversations in Elegance and Empowerment. If something in today's conversation spoke to you and deeper focused support feels right, I invite you to explore private coaching at becomingpublishing.com. Until next time, stay elegant, stay empowered.
Becoming the magnificence in me, empowered, strong, and gracefully, with poison.